What's going on, y'all? Five Sports Talk back at it with another video talking some NBA here to talk about a topic that arises from watching the NBA Finals, and I'm talking about the super teams that we are looking at, and really just the Golden State Warriors here, which people are going to consider more of the super team, of course, in the Cleveland Cavaliers. And it got me to think about the question of whether or not super teams are good or bad for the NBA. Now, obviously, this topic has been discussed before, but I really wanted to delve deeper into this topic and really look at it from an objective point of view to see if really are super teams really that bad for the NBA. I mean, everyone always says we've always had super teams. We've always had multiple stars on one teams that win championships. So is that really the case? So first, here's the thing with that argument that we've always had super teams and stars in the NBA and dynasties and whatnot. The difference between the super teams that we're used to seeing and the difference with the Golden State Warriors is that we have never seen an alpha player, and I'm going to get to LeBron James in a second here, just hold on. We have never seen an alpha player like a Kevin Durant join a team as good as the Warriors, who had the best regular season record in NBA history at 73 wins. They had won a championship without Kevin Durant, and we had never seen a team that good and a player like a Kevin Durant, who's an MVP player, go to a team like that. Now, back to LeBron James. People are going to say, what about LeBron? Didn't he do the same thing? Well, yes, but here's the thing. LeBron did go to a different team, but he did not go to a team as good as the Warriors. Say what you want about Bosh and Wade coming together and joining LeBron James. Well, Wade was already in Miami, but Bosh came and joined LeBron. The Heat were a new team forming together, coming together. There were not a championship contender already without LeBron James. And, of course, without LeBron James, they would not be a championship contender. You take Kevin Durant off Golden State, and they would still be a championship contender. So just goes to show you, not to say KD isn't an integral part of the team right now. He's probably their best player. But just goes to show you that you take LeBron off the Miami Heat, and they would not be a championship contender. The same can't be said for Golden State and Kevin Durant. So where does that exactly leave us? Well, here's the interesting thing, folks. So people, let's just go back a little bit and do some revisionist history with all of the so-called dynasties in the NBA. You go all the way back to the 60s with, you know, Bill Russell, Celtics, 50s, 60s, whatnot. There was no free agency at that time. 8 teams, very early in the NBA stage. No one really switched teams. I don't even think they had free agency back then, like I mentioned. So that didn't really count. I'm going to skip fast forward to Magic and the Lakers. Magic Johnson stayed and was drafted by the Lakers. He never switched teams. Now Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who is an MVP, did come to the Lakers. I believe he was traded. But here's the problem with that. Kareem and Magic, as good as an all-time players they are, Magic is somewhat considered by a lot of people that he is a better player than Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, so you can always make that comparison. It wasn't like he was the clear-cut best player over Magic Johnson. Kind of like how Kevin Durant is the clear-cut best player over Steph Curry. I feel like, I mean, you can make the argument now because Steph's won the past 2 MVPs, but Kevin Durant is the second best player in the NBA, and he's proven that to you guys in the finals, okay? Then you go to the Bird Celtics. Same thing. Larry Bird was drafted by the Celtics, stayed with them the whole time. They had Robert Parrish, Kevin McHale, those guys were drafted. Really no big free agent acquisitions outside of maybe Bill Walton, who did win an MVP, but he was so watered down. He was their 6th man, okay? Then you go to the Bulls with MJ. Michael Jordan drafted by the Bulls. Scottie Pippen drafted by the Bulls. And then they did get Dennis Rodman in free agency, but I know Dennis Rodman is a Hall of Fame player, no disrespect, but he never won an MVP. He was never the best player on any team he played for. So really, did they acquire anyone like that? No. And so then you go all the way to the Boston Celtics, where people say the super teams really started. It's either the Celtics people use or LeBron with the Heat. And the Celtics, they did acquire Kevin Garnett, but again, this is at the back end of KG's career. That is another thing that makes this very interesting. KD and Steph Curry are in their absolute primes right now. That is unheard of. These are 50, 40, 90 efficient guys in their prime, right in the dead center of their prime, and 2 MVPs. We have never seen this before in NBA history, and like I just mentioned with all of these teams that I went bat for, never has that scenario ever happened. So what does that mean for the NBA? Are super teams good or bad for the NBA? Let's just be honest here for a second, folks. We don't like it when the main player goes to a different team. We just don't like it. We like when secondary stars come to him. Like, let's say if Wade and Bosh back in 2010 joined LeBron in Cleveland, I don't think anyone would have any issues with that. Same situation if Draymond Green and, let's say, Klay Thompson or either or went to OKC and joined Kevin Durant with Russell Westbrook and formed the super team. I don't think anyone would have a problem with that. We don't like it when the main player leaves. And so my thing is, with super teams, I think they're bad for the NBA. If MVP type players, main players, top 5, top 7 players go to a different team, I think what would be much better is if secondary stars join them. And as much as every team has a franchise player, Kevin Love was never an MVP type player. Kyrie Irving, he was very young in his career, so we don't know yet. But a Kevin Love type player is a secondary star that I'm talking about. Even Paul George might be a secondary star. I don't know if anyone sees Paul George or Jimmy Butler as an MVP type player, even though they are the best players on their team. But again, we don't like it when the main MVP type players leave teams. We only like it when surrounding stars come to them. So that is my basically conclusion here with super teams. I think we are fine with super teams as long as secondary stars join up to the main star, not the other way around. And I think that is the best case scenario for the league. But as of right now, Golden State is a juggernaut. They got Kevin Durant, and let's see what happens. Those are my thoughts. If you guys like this video, please don't forget to hit the like button, and as always, subscribe, and don't forget to always watch the videos I will be posting daily. Okay, thank you so much for watching.